Life Audio.
Welcome to the Crosswalk Devotional. We're glad to have you listening with us. Today's topic is about taking hold of our cup. We'll return with the devotional after a brief message from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by He Gets Us, a nationwide campaign all about raising the respect and relevance of Jesus. Did you see the Super Bowl ads about Jesus? Are you wondering how you can get involved? He Gets Us is a multi-year effort to raise the respect and relevance of Jesus in the United States. Thanks to this unprecedented campaign, millions of Americans are discovering the life-changing impact of Jesus, and we want you to be a part of the movement. Join more than 45,000 He Gets Us fans, getting the latest updates, inspiration, prayer ideas, and easy-to-share resources via text message by subscribing to our fans community. To do so, text FANS to 70193. By being a fan, you can get exclusive updates on new ads, events, and other exciting news related to the He Gets Us movement. We'll also keep you inspired by giving you access to reading plans, prayer guides, and other tools to help on your spiritual journey. Join this community of like-minded individuals who share your passion for spreading the love of Jesus. Simply text FANS to 70193 to join today.
There is simply no other experience in the world like traveling to Israel. Seeing the Holy Land in person is a life-changing event you will never forget. Come see for yourself the holiest and most significant sites in biblical and world history. Judea and Samaria, Jerusalem, Nazareth, and Haifa are simply a few of the inspirational, breathtaking places you'll visit. Traveling to the Holy Land will be one of the most amazing trips of your life. Walking the same steps that Jesus did is an overwhelming and powerful experience you will never forget. It's time to go visit the birthplace of the Bible. To find out more about Israel, visit holyland.israel.travel. Israel, exactly like nowhere else.
Taking Hold of Our Cup, written by Aaron DeAnthony Brown, read by Rochelle Alberti. Going a little farther, he fell face down and prayed. My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not as I will, but as you will. Matthew 26:39. The cup of sorrow. Suffering and submission through his life, Jesus demonstrated both. He was born to save mankind from the consequence of sin, bearing the weight of pain and hardship meant for others so that for them salvation would be possible. Despite his toils on this earth, he endured, and he did so while maintaining faith in God. Jesus did not want to experience all that unfolded, but he accepted the suffering nonetheless, because he submitted not to his own will, but to the Father's. He drank from the cup of sorrow. Jesus' life was something that none of us will ever fully comprehend, but we can learn a thing or two about suffering and submission. His life mirrors our own. Suffering is inevitable for each of us, no matter where we are born, our social status, age, sex. Hardships will arise from within us and externally, and there is nothing we can do to make this untrue. Where we do have a choice, however, as Jesus reveals, is submission. As we go through life, we can choose to live for ourselves or for God. The temptation, especially when suffering gives us a bleak view on life, is to submit our own will. If God won't save us, help us, guide us, do whatever for us, then we want to do for ourselves. The cup of sorrow is often undesirable, and thus, so is submission. Life is hard. Any adult who has led a life of service, responsibility, faith, knows how true that statement can be. The difficulty of life is something we try to shield from our children, but like us, they continually come to discover sorrow all the same. We try to shield ourselves from this difficult truth as well, coping with food, video games, alcohol, sex, and more. However distracted we decide to be, reality remains the same. Life is hard. But what happens when we do submit to God and ultimately to whatever suffering comes our way? We can say with confidence, something good, because Jesus' life reveals this as well. Intersecting faith and life. Before we experience the outcome of submitting, we first have to overcome the hurdle of taking hold of our cup. What is the solution when we are given the cup but don't want to drink? The answer is hard, but simple. The solution is to be like Christ and drink, accepting the life, whatever life God has given us or allowed, and all the suffering that entails. We drink knowing that God has not left us to go through life fending for ourselves. He's promised His presence through the ages, meaning forever, our entire lifetimes, and that of our children and their children. We also drink knowing that the sorrow we experience will not last always. That's what Jesus has shown us through His life, before and after He died. Death has lost its sting, and so has suffering, because our problems, no matter what they are, finances, relationship, health, none of them last forever. When we submit to God, we find His presence in the midst of our hardships. We find healthy ways to cope. We find protection from any additional suffering. And in time, we find a way out. In this life, the next. Every day, we have the option of submitting to our own will. Yet there is no fair comparison between what we can offer ourselves and what God can. Only one of us is omnipresent, omnipotent, all holy, all loving, and faultless. God can do much more for us than we can do for ourselves. Therefore, whatever challenges we face in life, we ought to be like Jesus, declaring, not our will, but the Father's. We ought to remember, no matter how much we toil during our lifetime, our cup of sorrow will eventually be replaced with a cup of joy, a kind of joy that never ends. Further reading and listening. Great is thy faithfulness. Yet Praise by Marvin Winans and the Perfected Praise Choir. Psalm 34, 17 through 20. Habakkuk 3, 17 through 19. Matthew 16:24, Revelation 21:4.
The Crosswalk Devotional is a production of Life Audio and Salem Media. If you liked what you heard today, please take a second to rate and review this podcast in your favorite podcast app so that more listeners like you can find the show. For more faith-filled, inspirational podcasts, visit us at lifeaudio.com.
Hey there, it's Nicole Eunice from the How to Study the Bible podcast, and I'd love to invite you to join us as we weekly discover a passage of God's Word together. From beginning to end, from principles to practicals, we are here to make sure that God's Word is powerful and relevant to your life. If that sounds like something you're looking for, I would love to invite you to subscribe. You can go to lifeaudio.com and search How to Study the Bible, and we'll see you there.